UPSC also requires some sort of interdisciplinary approach so that you are applying your learning of one subject in other subject.
Because if you're writing something for 1000 words, you'll write everything, right? But when you bring that down to 150 words, you should know what is the most important aspect. So the more time you can put into it, the better it will be.
You will not be able in a position to apply that learning in different subjects. So hereupon the importance of pre-foundation comes.
The assistance of a personalized mentor, a personalized guide, because once you start this preparation, it can be very overwhelming because it seems like there's a lot to be done.
Hello dear aspirants, welcome to a special discussion on the pre-foundation course. Today we'll explore how this program lays an essential groundwork for success in UPSC. We are joined by not just one but two faculties from Vision IAS, and as the saying goes, two heads are always better than one. So we welcome Dr. Jasmine ma'am from Vision IAS and Prateek sir. Welcome ma'am and welcome sir. So ma'am, first question. How is this pre-foundation program different from the already running foundation programs?
The foundation course which we have, that is for your overall UPSC preparation, all stages of the exam, prelims, mains, interview. Pre-foundation is like a step before that. Here, this is going to be some basic level, some preliminary preparation and ideas on different subjects which an aspirants can use so that they are ready to go into the whole analytical and comprehensive aspect of the foundation course.
Okay, so sir, I would like to know from you here that what are the gaps that this program is filling?
See, when it comes to the gaps, the first thing is students lack a good understanding of the basics. So especially when it comes to newspaper reading, you will find terms like two-state solution oftenly used in terms of Israel-Hamas war. Okay, and also there are terms which are used when it comes to polity, such as constitutionalism, such as state, such as nation. So often it is important that we understand the basics first before delving into the advanced nature of the subject. So the first gap that this subject is trying to fill is to give a good understanding of the basics in a very comprehensive manner. The second gap that students has, especially with the students who are coming from the non-humanities background, they may not have studied the subjects like polity, economy, geography. So this course will give them a foundation of these subjects. They will give them a feel of these subjects. So when they go to the foundation batch, they will have a better understanding and they will be able to absorb these advanced concepts in a much better and organic manner.
Okay, so sir and ma'am, what I'm able to comprehend from both the answers, that it is actually aiming at the early learning levels of the students. That before one joins the foundation course, what are the prerequisites that one should be aware of and one should do? So the program actually aims at those particular areas.
Yes, this term early learning, this is a very appropriate way to describe it. So how we are going to promote and encourage aspirants to, go into that formal training is like foundation course will be more comprehensive. Here we want to keep it more interactive. It's going to be more of an activity-based learning where we wish to get some very fruitful outcomes from the aspirants in a way that they will be stimulated towards all the different subjects. They'll have a basic idea as to what it is that they need in this preparation, and then they can holistically develop into all the aspects of the syllabus, all the different papers, how they are going to write the test, all of that. Once that happens in the foundation, here we are in a way preparing them for that stage so that their own effort that can be minimized. Getting into a formal preparation and getting in tune with all these subjects might take a lot of effort and most importantly time. With this assistance of the pre-foundation course, the aspirants' exploration of different subjects, that we are going to take them in a very proper direction so that then, this can be a bridge between wherever they are today and when they start their formal foundation course.
Okay ma'am, thank you for comprehensively covering it. So sir, I would like to know from you, what are the subjects that we are focusing on in this program?
So Mrigank, as such, the pre-foundation course will be focusing upon some core GS subjects. Okay. So firstly, we'll be covering the polity part, and then there is economics, Then there is environment, geography, and modern Indian history. Apart from that, we'll be also taking classes on international relations. And apart from all these GS subjects, we'll be also providing classes on answer writing and current affairs.
Okay, so sir, taking cue from there, answer writing is a core component of anybody's preparation. So, are we doing specifically which is very relevant here with respect to answer writing, or these would be just general workshops that they are in foundation as well?
See, Mrigank, when it comes to answer writing, a lot of students have not written a single answer after they have graduated, and especially those who have been working somewhere, right? So when it directly comes to foundation, it may take some lot of hesitation when it comes to answer writing. But here in pre-foundation, right from the very basics, right from the very initial classes, we'll be encouraging students to write answers, okay? And sometimes there's a misconception that you need to have a lot of content to write good answer. So here we'll be building upon all these skills, that with very little content, very minimal content, how you can write good answers. For that, we have proposed 5 answer writing or 5 or 4 answer writing sessions, which the students will be acquainted with to cover all the aspects of answer writing. And they will be evaluated, they will be given feedback so that they understand all the nuances of answer writing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for again comprehensively answering this question. But ma'am, I would like to know from you, since sir talked about good answers. See, one component of good answers is how creatively you use the knowledge of current affairs. So ma'am, are we doing specifically anything about current affairs in this program?
I think Prateek has very rightly pointed out this idea of reading the newspaper, which is one of the biggest troubles when people start preparing, that now they're supposed to read a newspaper which they have no background about. So what aspects of that newspaper or current affairs are important? Just understanding that takes a lot of months. And that's why we have dedicated a portion in this program to current affairs preparation, where everything from newspaper reading to making notes from it and how they are going to be used in all the different subjects, that whole approach is done, and that's dealt with very slowly, because there will be a lot of aspirants who've never read a newspaper, might be new to this, or maybe in the newspaper also there are some portions which appeal a little lesser to them. So you have to do this exercise of making them very comfortable with all the newspapers, with all aspects of current affairs. So dedicated classes are there as a part of this program, where step by step they will be taken through current affairs, which they can learn to prepare in the long run of their preparation and then effectively use them when they sit for the exam.
So ma'am, what I'm inferring from the discussion that we had just now, that this course is designed for early learning levels, and it will help the students in a smooth transition to foundation batch. And also we have discussed about answer writing and current affairs with respect to newspaper. So apart from it, can you just tell us and all our viewers what are the other features of this program?
So along with the classes, we are going to give a daily evaluation system also is going to be there. So there will be some questions which the aspirants will get every day for practice, and they will also be writing answers which we will be evaluating, and this is a daily exercise. After that, this daily exercise, we also take them to a weekly test, because comprehensively also they need to know how much they have grasped, how much they know. So for different subjects together, we'll give them a weekly test. We'll be evaluating those tests for the aspirants. We'll be discussing those tests. And one very, very significant feature which we're providing with this course is the assistance of a personalized mentor, a personalized guide, because once you start this preparation, it can be very overwhelming, because it seems like there's a lot to be done. So in that initial phase of the preparation, personalized guidance can be very, very helpful, because you need to know if what you are doing is okay, if the direction you're taking that is okay. And personalized guidance while you are trying to build your basics, that will be very helpful, a very helpful feature of this program.
Apart from what ma'am has said, I just want to highlight a couple of things. See, the classes is generally targeted for 3 hours in general. There will be classes for 5 days a week. Apart from that, we are planning a weekly test on Sunday in general, right? And the discussion, there will be a discussion for the test. And after every class, you will be getting around 7 to 8 questions which you have to evaluate on your own. So there will be objective test and there will be subjective test as well. Apart from that, there will be an assignment question also, which will be designed based on the content covered in the class. So here, that question will be evaluated and a detailed feedback will be provided to you so that you can work upon your strengths and weaknesses, right? Apart from that, we'll be providing some workshops from time to time, sometimes in the form of current affairs class and sometimes in the form of answer writing sessions, right? And there's one more difference here, which is I wanted to highlight, is that the emphasis here is on activity-based learning, right? So activity-based learning, by activity-based learning, I mean that students will be given some task, right? So that they can take some measure, like they will be asked to interpret certain section of the book, or they will be given certain small tasks, group activities. So here the emphasis is not just on top level or top down approach. Here the emphasis is on bottom up approach.
Okay, sir. So I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that assignments will be given for all the subjects that we are teaching in the class. And in one of the answers earlier, you talked about some subjects that will be taught. Any particular reasoning behind choosing these specific subjects? Because there are multiple subjects like society, governance, which are also there. So any specific reasoning that the subjects that you've just mentioned in one of the answers earlier are specifically chosen?
Yeah, Mrigang, this is a very good question. See, the reason why we have explored choosing those subjects only is because these are the foundational subjects. When you read any newspaper, you'll find that there are certain articles which cover information from the basic subjects, like there will be news from polity. For example, there was election in Haryana recently, election in Jammu and Kashmir. So we need to understand what is the process which is governing the elections, right? So here we need to have a good understanding of polity. We need to understand what is the significance of elections, okay? So when you read about the disasters or climate change event, we need to have a background in geography, right? So when it comes to climate change, environment, basics of geography and environment is important. When it comes to international relations, especially when you see the world events which is currently going on, the conflicts in Ukraine, the conflict in Israel, the bombing in Lebanon. So here we need to understand the dynamics of Cold War. We need to understand why this war or why this development happened in the first place. So here a backgrounder of international relations is important. So here the point is that most of the topics, most of the things which are covered in newspaper need to be covered from certain basic subjects. And these are the basic subjects like polity, economy, IR, geography, environment, right? And in fact, also we have included history, because without understanding history, you'll not be able to understand the developments, right? So we need to understand which were the factors which led us to be enslaved by the Britishers, right? What are the reasons why India was so much prosperous in the past, still it became dominated by a colonial empire. So this backgrounder is essential. Now, again, other subjects like society, governance, they all follow from the basic subjects. So when you go to the foundation courses, you will have a good understanding of the basics, and thereupon you can build on these foundational subjects.
Okay, so thank you so much for covering it so nicely. So ma'am, my question to you, now since we all know what this particular program is all about, if a student has to choose this program, whom do you think is the ideal student for this program?
Mrigang, I would like to suggest this to all aspirants that they must go through the UPSC syllabus in detail, and I'm sure they're already doing that if they're thinking about the preparation. And they should also be going through the questions. They should have an idea about what is expected from them. And then with a sense of what UPSC requires, they'll be in a position to assess that how well they need to know these things and what is their current level of understanding of all these topics. Like a lot of times it is suggested that you must do a reading of NCERTs first, you start from class 6, that kind of a thing. So here this is a 3-month course which we are bringing in, so that gap which you have, or that basic reading which you're expected to do at your own end, we are kind of going to streamline that for you. So if these subjects are not the subjects which you have studied in your graduation, you are new to these subjects, this program will work very well. Or even if you've studied these subjects and you feel that you need to, just brush up the things, there is a revision. So 3 months is a very good time period to just brush up everything. But aspirants will have to get a basic idea about the exam, and then they will be able to be in a position to know that yes, how helpful this preparation can be for them.
Okay, so ma'am, as they say that it is not about the load, it is about the way you carry it. So we are actually helping them in carrying this load in a much more better manner.
Exactly.
Okay,
So
thank you.
adding on to that, what ma'am has said, so just like ma'am said that those who have this background in humanities can also benefit from this, because what happens in college is that we do not study it in the way it is required in UPSC. The emphasis is mostly on the rote learning part and not on the analysis part. And the second part is that there is also the element of answer writing that is missing, because we continue to absorb information, but we are not able to write it in a very structured manner. So this course will help those students in a very effective manner. And one essential part which is often also reiterated by Elon Musk is that we must start learning from first principle. And this is going to be the first principle for UPSC preparation.
So I think one point that, sir, you have very rightly pointed out, that in humanities in college we write for so many pages, and here we need to write in a structured manner in a given word limit. So that is one skill that we need to master.
And for that, you must have a very good understanding. Because if you're writing something for 1000 words, you'll write everything, right? But when you bring that down to 150 words, you should know what is the most important aspect. Only then you can bring it out, right? And those kind of skills take a lot of time to develop. So the more time you can put into it, the better it will be.
And adding on to what ma'am has said, UPSC also requires some sort of interdisciplinary approach, so that you are applying your learning of one subject in other subject, right? So here, unless you have understood the basics really well, you will not be able in a position to apply that learning in different subjects. So hereupon, the importance of pre-foundation comes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I think you have answered all our queries and students will be benefited from this video. Thank you for joining us today and giving us time from your busy schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So students, as Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. You can examine your current position, assess your abilities, and then take a call for pre-foundation batch. The batch is starting on 18th of October, for which if you require more information, you can log into our website or visit any Vision IAS center across India. Thank you for joining us today and wish you the very best.